Hey, I'm Blake Boldon, Franklin P. Johnson, Director of the Drake Relays. Today, Thursday, April 23rd, an exciting day. We'll be joined in just a minute by a huge star in our sport and a crowd favorite here in Des Moines at the Drake Relays and, of course, the Drake Stadium anytime she competes. Huge crowd favorite, Jenny Simpson. We got to see her set an American record for 2 miles. Sorry, I clicked the wrong button. Jenny is going to join us here in a minute. She'll join us here in a second. But in the meantime, I do want to take just a moment here to say this Instagram Live through the Drake Relays is presented by Atlantic Coca-Cola Bottling, who are proud to support local communities in which they live, work, and play. And we will be bringing Jenny in a moment. Sorry, here we go. And as I was saying, we know that Jenny's a big star in the sport. She has a huge following in Central Iowa and beyond. Hey, there she is. Hey, Jenny, how are you?
Hello.
I was just talking about you, and then I clicked the wrong button and about shut me down. So,
Oh no.
Thanks for joining. Thanks for taking the time out of your schedule. I have some notes here. Certainly, I've got some personal fond memories of seeing you race, not only in college, but also as a professional, and especially at the Drake Relays since I've been back here in Iowa working with the Drake Relays. Among those many things, I have a note that says you've won 55 national titles. Is that possibly true?
55 national titles.
Yep, right?
I stopped keeping track. I don't know.
Yes, that's incredible. Well, anyway, whether that's the right number or not, it's more than I can imagine. A world champion, reigning Olympic medalist in the 1500. So thanks a lot, Jenny. Thanks for taking time, and thanks for all you do, not just for the Drake Relays, but for the sport of track and field.
Oh, thanks.
How are you?
I'm good. I actually didn't set up my laptop. I'm on my phone so that I can walk around and give you guys like a quarantine update. Be a little bit more casual, give you guys some like very rare insider view to the Simpson household.
That's cool. Yeah. And speaking of the Simpson household, last time we talked, you made mention you added a family member. Tell us about that decision.
Yes. So we have, hang on. I knew eventually he was going to come into the conversation because I'm a proud mom. No, Truman, don't run away. Here we go. We've got a new family member, little Truman Simpson. And he's super cute and he's super nice, except once a week he wakes up with a little like flame in his eye. He's a little devil about once a week. But other than that, he's really good.
Yeah, and it's really been fun. I follow you on Instagram. It's really fun to see what you're sharing with Truman and how he looks like.
That's not very cute.
Yeah.
So we started an Instagram account for him, which was really fun. And normally I don't think that's the thing I'm like super inclined to do. But it totally was serendipitous. We ended up adopting him the first week during the stay-at-home orders. Jason and I have been married almost 10 years. And so for 10 years, we've been talking about getting a dog. And so the whole excuse the whole time has always been like, oh, we travel too much. Jason has always told me we can't have a pet because you're going to cry if we have to leave. And so when everything looked like it was going to get shut down and like all the races were at risk of shutting down, I told Jason, your excuse is completely evaporated. If we have to shelter at home and be quarantined, then this is a perfect time to get a dog. So we did. So we got Truman. We adopted him from a rescue shelter. And we've had him a few weeks now. Hey, Jason. We've had him a few weeks now, actually a little over a month. And he's been a really sweet, really funny boy.
Yes, well, and I was really impressed, not only just by watching what I've seen on social and your account and his, but also, wasn't it the New York Times that picked it up and wrote a big story?
Yeah. True. I know, I was laughing. I was like, during...
Dog to celebrity overnight.
Yeah. During the time of the quarantine, my cute puppy is getting better media leads than I am. It's funny. Yeah. So the whole reason we set up the Instagram was like just to give something like fun and happy for people to see every day. So I post a picture of him every day. And it's really true. The New York Times reached out and said, we're covering all kinds of stuff, and we want happy stories, not just coronavirus stories. And so we saw that you adopted a puppy. And so on the weekend newsletter, Truman was the lead article in the running section of the New York Times. It was really sweet. So if you guys want to see it, it's on my Instagram, but then also Truman's Instagram. If you want one hit of puppy cuteness every day, it's The Harry Truman Show, at The Harry Truman Show.
The T-H-E Harry Truman Show.
The H-A-I-R-Y Truman Show. So it's just cute. It's fun. It's not serious. And I do a lot of really serious things. So it's really fun to have like just something light and fun.
Absolutely. Well, yeah, it's a time where we could all use a little bit of that. And certainly that's what we're doing this week in Des Moines and commemorating the Drake Relays. I know our fans have a special place in their hearts for you, and you have a special place in your heart for our fans and the Drake Relays themselves. Would you mind sharing with us maybe how you're commemorating the weekend or a favorite Drake Relays memory or two?
So my fantasy commemoration would be if we could have the Drake Relay or the Drake Bulldog and Truman have a race at the track, a socially distanced race at the track. But since that's not possible, as each week of races comes and goes, and really for me, Drake is the first one. That's usually where I open my season and where I kind of kick off the year. Don't be so vocal, Truman. It's my turn. But anyway, I don't know. It's just a time of like, instead of being sad about the things that aren't happening, I think we're spending a lot of time really reflecting. And so I was thinking about two of my favorite times at the Drake Relays of Drake Relays of all the times that I've been there. And one was we ran NCAAs there I don't remember what year in college, but I won an NCAA title on the Blue Oval in the steeplechase. And so that was just a really wonderful memory. And it kind of harkens back to like a really past era for me. And also like when Drake was really kind of starting to come on the scene, hosting US championships and stuff like that, and NCAA championships. So that's a really, really fun memory. I think it might've been one of the first times I ever ran on the Blue Oval. And so that's like one of my favorite memories. And then obviously running the 2 mile out there 2 years ago. And that is really special, not just because like, it was this really magical night with like the fans were totally like into it and really helpful. And I was doing a lot of the work, kind of paying attention to the clock. And so in that way, it was really special. But there were several other factors that people may care or not care or remember or not remember that made it special for me. And one was that my longtime teammate, Shalea Kipp, that was the last season she and I ran together before she moved to Canada for school. And so she paced me through a mile. And so just in our friendship and relationships, like that will always be really special to me. And then the other thing is it was really, really windy that entire day, like crazy windy. And I remember my coach being really nervous and you being really nervous and everyone being really nervous whether I was going to be able to set the record or not. And I just remember being really confident about it, just really sure of it. And so I think that I'll look back later on days when I'm retired and I'll think, how did I have so much confidence? And I'll be really grateful for some of those memories of times where I just felt unstoppable. And that was definitely one of those nights.
Yeah, I'm very grateful that you had that same confidence because I was confident. It was really windy and really challenging night, but you're exactly right. I mean, the whole stadium, we had big numbers for a Friday night, and I mean, there were probably 10,000 folks there, somewhere between 8 and 10. I'd have to look back at my notes. I don't have it in front of me, but big crowd for after sunset on a windy night.
Yeah.
And with each passing lap, it just got more and more excited. I mean, Shalea did a terrific job of even pace, but then when she stepped off, and behind you, Brenda Martinez was running strong. Her split through 3K was under 9 minutes, and so she ran a lot of stuff. But it was distance. There was distance, and you were both. And really, most of the field by that point was by the time we got to a mile or the race got to a mile, you were a lot on your own. Most of the field on a windy night, and it didn't stop people from performing. And Mike J, our track and field announcer, just brought it to life. Like I remember goosebumps and just electricity.
And it feels good when it feels like the announcer and the crowd, when they're on your side. I mean, I'm in so many races where there's a battle all the way to the finish. And that's like the really typical experience. And it should be like, it's really compelling to watch people racing all the way to the finish line. But this was just a different type of race because I was going out for a fast time, kind of had the record in mind the entire way. And when those races are so rare in a career, when you have the whole stadium really on your side and rooting for you, and having had all those years of racing at Drake and being in and out of Iowa and having family there, like it just made it a really meaningful place. And to that point too, like we don't get to do those sorts of record attempts in the United States very often. And so I'm just really grateful to you guys for facilitating and setting up an opportunity for me to do that. And I don't know why there aren't more of those types of things happening in the US, because doing that type of stuff in front of young American runners, I think, is a really powerful thing. I got to see that in high school and college. I got to experience that. And so bringing as much of that stuff to a high school and college meet as possible, I think is just a really important part of being a pro.
Well, and yeah, I'm seeing you got fans from all over the world here. Josh says hi from Canada. Deepak, he's from India. He's in India watching right now.
Oh, fun.
Inspiration. So a lot of great engagement here. If you have questions, please feel free to send those in the post, and we'll try and answer a couple here. I promised Jenny we wouldn't keep her longer than 15 minutes, and we're quickly approaching that. And I feel like we've barely gotten started. But I do have a couple questions for you. Well, actually, maybe I'll share this memory. That night that you set the American record, certainly very special for the people there. What made it special for me and so many others is the night before that, even though you knew and I knew and the world knew you were taking a chance at an American record the very next day, you volunteered to come up and do a warm-up with the elementary school. We had about 700 elementary kids, and I asked you and Leo and Brenda, really people that I kind of have become to consider friends. Devin Allen, Tom Walsh, the New Zealand shot putter, was there. So it's like everybody's there. And we're there doing a warm-up with the kids. And then Devin looks at me and says, "Can we run with them?" And it didn't take but a snap of the fingers, and you and Brenda and Leo and Devin and Aries Merritt, the world record holder for the 110 hurdles, everybody just jumps in and starts racing the kids. Very, very quickly. "Hey, Mike, this is about to happen," because he was up in the booth, and I told him the relay order. And of course, he knows your credentials way better than I do. And he knew all those people by name and face. And the next thing you know, maybe one of the best possible relay teams you could ever put together.
Yeah.
Take shape to race against 4th and 5th grade kids from Des Moines, and that to me I'll always remember it.
Oh, that makes me really happy. Yeah. I think getting out with younger kids and high schoolers and stuff and just showing them that as much as they might look up to Olympic athletes and elite athletes, we all started in school programs like they did, and we started in little clubs like they did. And so what they're doing, we have such a strong connection to. And so I think it's really fun to get out there. And then when you see these elite athletes out there, I hope that is the experience, that it's just a really natural thing for us to fall right back into that. Because we're like, oh yeah, when I was a kid, I was in a club, or I was in a track team in school. And actually, to that point, if I can shamelessly plug some of the work that I'm doing right now. So yeah, speaking of kids and working with kids, there's so many young kids, especially elementary, middle, and high school, who are stuck indoors right now, or just not able to go to PE class or go to track club and things like that. No after school programs, no gatherings. So with all the social distancing, the New York Roadrunners and I are putting together a program called Active at Home. And so if you are a kid at school, if you know a parent that has a kid that's home and they need some stuff to do, they can go on to activeathome.nyr.org, and I lead basically PE class inside your living room. So kids can come, and it's totally free. You just log on, you click on the links, and you can do a physical education class with me in my living room.
That's incredible. Could you give us that web address one more time?
Yeah, so it's activeathome.nyrr.org. And if you're more curious, you can go onto my Instagram. I've done a couple of plugs on it on my Instagram account. So @TrackJenny, check it out. And if you're a parent and you need a break, send your kids to hang out with me for 10 or 15 minutes.
Be careful what you wish for.
Yeah. So
really cool. Well, thanks for sharing that. And what I can say for sure is, based on the story that I just shared, that's really an authentic offer, and it really comes across. So thanks for your leadership in the sport, and thanks for sharing the time with us here. I see a lot of great questions. There were a few questions about racing and training. And I'll just say to everybody that's watching, we're thrilled that you're here joining. I promise every athlete that we're talking this week that I won't ask hard questions about the Olympics in 2020 or on. We know Jenny's a world-class athlete. We know she's going to do everything she can to be there. And certainly we're going to do all we can to bring her to the Blue Oval as soon as possible for our local fans that have asked that same question. Jenny, in all of your many travels, actually I've got a couple more funny Jenny Simpson stories, but maybe, is there anything else that you would like to share with our audience or your fans that are watching right now? Certainly it's been great to meet Truman and hear about the things you're doing to inspire the next generation, but anything else that you want us to know?
Well, before we sign off, I definitely wanted to just first of all, I want to remind everyone when it comes to training and it comes to being entertained at home, we're all just doing the best that we can. There's no athlete that has some perfect formula. If you're out there and you're just trying to kind of keep it together and you feel like you don't have a plan, we're all in that boat. And so don't feel like Jenny Simpson has it totally figured out and dialed in and is getting so much further ahead of everyone else. We're all just doing the best we can. And to that point, I thought I would leave you guys with some relatable parts of our house. So obviously Truman is a big part of the excitement. We have I have some glare, but we have our kitchen table where we have all of our puzzles out, and we have a little coloring station, and we have games. So my sister-in-law, who lives in New York, came and started living with us about a month ago. And so because, getting out of New York City and stuff. So Jason and Annie and I have half of our dining room table for eating and the other half for just kind of fun and games, because you can only do so much Netflix before you want to lose your mind. And then also, I was going to take you guys out. I know a lot of you guys are stuck in not super, super beautiful, amazing places. Maybe you're in an apartment, maybe you're far away. And so I just wanted to give everyone a view of the mountains and tell you guys that I'm thinking of you, and we're quarantined in a really special place. And I wish all of you could be in my backyard, but since I can't bring you here, I thought I would just give you guys a beautiful view. And thank you guys for joining me.
Thanks a lot. And, as we've been here and you were giving us a little bit of a tour, I think it's Wayne Bum has said hi from Ireland. So I think that's at least the fourth country that has joined us here to say hey. So thanks for inspiring the youth here in Des Moines, Iowans, your family. I know you and Jason both have ties to Iowa and staying connected to us here. But thanks for inspiring so many around the world. So really owe a debt of gratitude for all you do for the sport. 15 minutes we agreed on, so really appreciate your curiosity, and thank you so much. I'll feel free to sign off anytime, but I just want to remind the rest of our viewers that 6 o'clock, I'll be unavailable doing some other stuff, but it's 7, Wallace Spearman, one of the best 200-meter runners and another friend of Jenny and mine. He's on the board at USATF, terrific athlete, leader in the sport. Wallace is going to join us at 7. And then local hero, Reed Fisher, a Drake grad that has represented U.S. and been internationally and is the 3-time defending champion of the men's 5,000 at the Drake Relays. He'll be joining us at 8. So
I've watched a great Reed Fisher 5K, and it was worth it. And yeah, you guys have some great guests. So everybody come back, because Wallace Spearman is a trip.
He's awesome, isn't he?
Yeah.
So actually, that was the year that Jason ran. Did he run the 5K that year?
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. My husband was out there. And actually it was funny. He didn't get a ride back. I don't know how we miscommunicated. So my husband runs a 5K on the Blue Oval. He had a great night. And then he had to run all the way back to the hotel because no one came and got him. So poor Jason, pulling more than his weight and having a lot of fun and a good attitude. But anyway, so tons and tons of stories, but thanks for having me. And please stay tuned with the Drake Relays. As soon as you guys are backing up and running, I'll be there with you.
Thank you, Jenny. Love you.
I
really appreciate it.
Thanks, Blake. Bye.
All right. Bye-bye.